Hey everyone, how's it going? Psychic types are amazing in Generation 1. Pretty much every single psychic type so far has done really well. The one sort of exception among pre-evolved Pokemon was Slowpoke, and I wonder whether the problem Slowpoke went through will affect Slowbro, even though it is a much better version of obviously the same Pokemon. So first things first, let's just look at the stats in the moveset. Slowbro has decent offensive stats, pretty good defensive stats, which isn't really needed, and atrocious speed. That atrocious speed is going to be a little bit of a problem, and it'll be a problem throughout the run. It's got an amazing move list. Like, there are so many different moves we could use at different points, and it even starts with Confusion, which is not resisted by almost anything early on, and is 50 base power, same type, and the chance to confuse. This is going to be an interesting run, and if I might just ask at the beginning of the year, I don't do this often. I know most of you are already subscribed, but if you're not, this is going to be a really cool year. I have some amazing and ridiculous challenges coming out, hopefully in the next month or so. But yeah, I appreciate you guys so much, and I want to thank you guys for all the support. The fact I've been doing this full time, this is now, I believe in March, it's going to be the 6th year anniversary of these Gen 1 solo runs. So pretty cool stuff. And yeah, I hope to have you guys along for the rest of the solo runs in Gen 1 and hey, maybe some other cool content. But first, I want to give a big thank you to a huge supporter of the channel, the sponsor of today's video, Boot.dev. So Boot.dev, for those of you who don't know, is a website you can use to learn backend web development in various languages such as Python, SQL, and Go. I've been doing the Python course over the last little bit, and I've been improving. Now, for those of you who are considering backend web development, there's a couple really big perks that I see to it. Number one, as a professional YouTuber, I get to take advantage of this. My job is remote. I don't have to go into an office, no hour-long commute. And there are many backend web development jobs that don't require going into office, which is pretty good. Additionally, the median salary in the United States for backend web developers was over $100,000. In terms of learning the backend web development, I mean, the interactive courses from Boot.dev are really fun to use, and it's clear Boot.dev understands that boredom is one of the biggest obstacles for learning, so they try to make sure that you never get bored while giving you a really good framework to understand the content. Speaking of the content, it is all free to read and watch, but if you'd like a paid membership that unlocks the interactive features like the hands-on coding, the AI assistant boots, etc., well, I've got really good news for you. All you gotta do is you either can scan the QR code that has been on screen this entire time, or you can just go to boot.dev, and don't forget to use my code JRose11. You will get 25% off the price of your subscription, which can be an entire year if you choose the annual plan. All right, so all the preamble is done. Let's get to the run. And the first thing we gotta do is beat Brock. Well, the only move we're really gonna wanna use is Confusion, and it looks like it's going to be a 3-hit KO on Geodude, which is outspeeding me, even though I beat every bug catcher. Onix, oh god, 2-turn bite. If we got 3-turn, it would have been fine. We actually lose to Brock because our speed sucks. And then it turns out it's actually going to be a 4-hit KO against Geodude in battle number 2, and against Onix, but this time the bide lasts a little longer. So second try victory. The speed is an issue, but overall that was pretty quick for Brock. Now, normally I'd battle Rival 2, but Misty gives Bubble Beam, which would be Slowbro's strongest move. Well, if you account for same type and it's special. So I'm going to battle her. Staryu is going to be a 3-hit KO, and then I'm going to be using Headbutt on Starmie. Misty does like to buff its defense. However, I get really lucky and it takes her 5 ever. to use the X defend, and then because she took so long to use the X defend, I was able to win this battle of attrition, tackle versus headbutt. Headbutt won, barely. Had she used the X defend right away, I would have lost. But yeah, Slowbro is now, well, 1 for 2 in first try victories, but gets Bubble Beam, which replaces Disable. You may have seen I have Water Gun. It's just interesting to mention there are sometimes moves I get which help in random battles that you guys don't see because they're not major, but nonetheless did help in the run. And getting the Water Gun TM from Mount Moon did help with some optional battles that allowed me to battle Misty slightly earlier and will thus make Nugget Bridge a little bit faster. But before we battle Nugget Bridge, we gotta battle Rival 2. Well, here's where we really get to see our speed or lack of speed in action. We get hit by not 1, but 2 sand attacks. And, well, actually, we're gonna get hit by a 3rd sand attack. Sorry, what I was going to say before I was rudely interrupted by that 3rd sand attack is that in Generation 1, the accuracy calculations are different than later games, and you just miss every time. I mean, you miss more often. It's more powerful evasion and accuracy moves, so that sucks. But one other thing is in Battle 2, where we only get 1 sand attack, notice we actually get a speed lower from Bubble Beam, and yet Still Pidgeotto was faster, which is not great. Thankfully, because we have Confusion, Bulbasaur is, well, we have super effective moves against it, but it's still not a one-shot. So this is again where the base 80 special is a little underwhelming compared to something like a Kadabra or heck, even an Abra. So Slowbro is doing okay. Like, this is still very solid. We're about 10 real minutes into the challenge, and we've just hit Nugget Bridge. That's fairly good. Many challenges, we're not even past Brock yet, but we have definitely lost time in every single battle because we're slower. Actually, until Nugget Bridge. Now, because of a fully evolved Pokemon, we actually do have the speed to outspeed most of these things, but not all of them. And here's where Bubble Beam becomes kind of useful, because where you will see with a Pidgey, Confusion doesn't always one-shot. With the extra 15 base power, and with the same types even more, but don't worry about that, we actually can one-shot nearly everything. And that's huge, because every turn the opponent gets to attack is time wasted. And we gotta go fast with a Slowbro. Time for Rival 3. So we get hit by Sand Attack immediately, and then another Sand Attack. We knock out Pidgeotto, but I don't have a good feeling. I try to go for Body Slam just to see how much it will do, and it one-shots. Nice. Then we get hit by Confusion. We miss. But then we hit Ivysaur, Leech Seed. That's bad. We miss. We miss again. Keeps going for Leech Seed, which is good. In fact, I think it might have to go for Leech Seed because it's a grass move, but I'm pretty sure as an Ivysaur, yes, I've just double-checked, it does have Vine Whip. So it didn't have to just go for Leech Seed. Either way, we actually were able to win. However, and I'm not going to keep saying this, but because we were hit by the sand attacks, they got to attack more. It was a first try victory, but since we measure by in-game time, the battle was slow. Now I had to decide something kind of minor, but also kind of important. Slowbro has a bit of 4-move syndrome going on. What that is where a Pokemon gets so many useful moves, but we only have 4 move slots. And the question is Dig, a 2-turn attack, going to occupy one of them? It would certainly help for Lieutenant Surge. However, I'm probably going to want to delete it, and that's going to mean I need to either buy escape ropes, which I always forget, or I'm going to have to walk out of buildings like, dare I say, a casual. Gasp! I decided to give Surge literally 2 attempts without it. Attempt number 1 doesn't start off great. We get both hit by Sonic Boom by Voltorb, and then Thundershock by Pikachu. We get paralyzed, and Thunderbolt takes me out. Now, at this point, I was pretty sure I was going to teach Dig, but I decided to go just one more time. I said I'd give it 2. This time, Voltorb does not go for Sonic Boom, so we have 84, now 87. Pikachu gets an X speed, so we actually have full 87, and we get Thunder Shock, X speed, and then a paralysis. Pretty lucky. Pretty lucky. But win's a win, and I'm not going to complain too much. All it means is I don't have to buy escape ropes because now Paris can learn dig, and Paris is pretty good at digging out of buildings. Like this building right here. Actually, I have to teach dig first. No, not Thunderbolt, Gyros. There you go, dig. And you teach it to Paris, and you dig out of this building, and bam! Back in Cerulean City. Love doing that. A really nice little time save. If I ever were to optimize these, this is where you can save quite a bit of time, actually, is healing less, and then digging back to the center you want to go to. But since it's first try a lot of the time, I will often err on the side of caution and heal everywhere. Which is funny because it's actually optimizing the run for real time, which I don't use. So it's kind of funny how I do that, but I do it consistently. So it's all good. There's nothing to talk about on the way to Celadon City, even Whitgag, because, you know, I'm still faster than a Geodude, which is sick. So we're going to go into the Rocket Hideout and battle Giovanni. You can see by my health, I'm getting damaged, and oh, there's Bind. Don't want to see that. We do outspeed Rhyhorn, and then Kangaskhan goes Guard Spec, Bite No Flinch. Kangaskhan in this game has horrendous special, so it is a 2-shot. Very grateful for that. And here is an example where I actually had to heal when I didn't need to, so I could dig back to Celadon, because now what we're going to do is get some really good moves. I mean, we're going to buy vitamins, but eventually we're going to get a Freshwater for Ice Beam, and then we're going to go to Saffron for Psychic, and we're going to pick it back up when I use those moves against Rival 4. So against Rival 4, now we have pretty good moves. Of course, we get hit by Sand Attack, but we level up. That's great. Now I go for Psychic and miss, and then I get hit by Leer, and then Bite. Great. And then another Leer. Just fantastic. I am hitting, though, and I go Body Slam. Nice. Now one Psychic or Ice Beam will work. No. And yay! Okay. 45 HP. Everything is fine. We're good. Let's just go battle this Channeler here. I'll use the Repel first. Easy battle. Never have to think. Never have mentioned this Channeler. And, uh-oh. I hope the next one doesn't go for Nightshade. In truth, I think I had one more potion left that I should have used, but I've never even thought about that Channeler as anything resembling a threat before. But double Nightshade, I had just 2 less HP than I needed to just make it to the healing spot, and then I wouldn't have to worry. But that loss, even though it's not going to waste any in-game time, perfectly encapsulates the issue we're having with Slowbro. It being slow gives opponents a chance to hit it, and that's not good, actually. Let me just make sure this battle goes well. Again, we get Nightshade, and for the record, it doesn't have to go for Nightshade. You can see it goes for Lick, which you may or may not know does nothing to Psychic Pokemon in Gen 1. Kind of weird. So why does Nightshade work? Because it's a set damage move, and those ignore type effectiveness. I know, it's strange. It's so strange, but it's how it works. Now we can skip ahead a little bit, or a lot bit, and make it to Koga. We have a type advantage, but we're likely going to get outsped. How will that affect us? Also, I skipped Erika intentionally. We actually outspeed the Coughing, which is nice. One shot. Muck outspeeds and goes for Sludge, but no poison. And then X attack is fine. 63. Ooh, withdraw. Oh, no. So I do want to learn that, but I don't want to overwrite Psychic. So my bad there. We're going to use Psychic and then minimize. Okay, that was a good crit. Not going to get a lot of those as Slowbro. So I do want Withdraw, and I'm going to delete Bubble Beam. Who needs same type moves? Then I accidentally go for Body Slam, but it's alright, it's alright. Smog somehow both hit but didn't poison. Feels like that never happens. And then Wheezing goes for Toxic. As long as I don't get Self-Destruct, I'll win, and I get Sludge. First try victory against Koga, and now is where made a bit of a mistake. It's not a huge mistake, and it won't really impact Slowbro's time a lot, but it's one where if I were to redo this run, I would do things a little differently. So I right now have the moveset of Psychic, Body Slam, Ice Beam, and Withdraw. What I should have done, knowing what I know now, is I actually should have deleted Body Slam and taught Surf. By the way, notice how I get paralyzed by this Arbok, and I actually will reset. I think about it and then wonder where I saved last, and there you go. I have to do that because you just don't know. Oh, now I'm poisoned. But I collected an antidote back in Viridian frickin' Forest, so bam, useful now. Sorry, as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by my gameplay. I should have gone to Cinnabar Island and beaten Blaine, but I thought I didn't want to delete Body Slam yet. And once I teach Surf, I'm not able to erase it under any circumstances, so I was a little nervous to do so. What this led to was predictably a loss to Rival Fivel. The reasoning is kinda simple. While I'm using the badge boost mechanic to increase my stats without Blaine's gym badge, I'm not increasing my special at all. So while I'm tanking these hits like an absolute champion that aren't crits and that aren't Dragon Rage, I'm actually not as fast as I'd like to be, and I'm not hitting as hard as I'd like to be. So what do I end up doing? Honestly, I battle Rival Fivel a few times, and I get really close. Like, some of these battles were really close. I even made it to Venusaur, although you could see here, even though it uses Leech Seed, I had so little HP that I lost the battle. Now, remember how I said I skipped Erika intentionally? That is a source of experience, even though it's not going to affect stats for badge boosting. Only the odd number gyms do that. So I battled Erika now, which not a bad idea actually. So Erika is a little scary. Victory Bell's Razor Leaf will always crit, and it does about half. But I outspeed Tangela, and I even outspeed Vileplume at my level. So I win, but I didn't really gain as much experience points as I wanted to. I then tried to battle Rival Fivel again, and it wasn't looking great. Let me repeat. In retrospect, I didn't need Body Slam, but I thought I did. And so I wish I just would have taught Surf, but I wanted to be safe and not delete a move that I may need later. I just didn't know at the time I didn't need it. I do beat Rival Fivel, but you're going to see very soon why. I go for Ice Beam and get a freeze. So once you get a freeze, it's over. However, I was just about to level up, so I can't actually badge boost much against the Pidgeot. What I can do, however, is gain some defense and then get really lucky. By the way, the reason I'm going for Body Slam here over my special moves is that I did get from those Leers by Gyarados. Yes, even the Leers contribute some stat boost to my attack, but not my special since I didn't beat Blaine. And here we get the better RNG, where we get Leech Seed plus Vine Whip. Actually, the best is Leech Seed plus Leech Seed. And yeah, I got lucky. But if I'd beaten Blaine, we would have had a lot of special, and we would have been at a higher level, and we would have won easily. Didn't end up really costing us that much time, so I'm not going to like redo this run or anything, but it is something in looking back I think of, and I'm like, didn't go the way I thought it would. By the way, another cool thing, in the Safari Zone, oh wait, I used it. In just before you battle Rival Fivel, there's a Hyper Potion. So I'm going to go into this battle poisoned, but poison is only 1/16 every turn, so it's not so bad. And actually, it doesn't even activate if you knock out an opponent, which we should do every turn, except apparently not to Kangaskhan. That sucks. Surf probably would have knocked it out, by the way. It's slightly more powerful. And, oh, okay, again, Surf would have worked. All right, whatever. Still easy victory against Giovanni 2. And now, we get to do what I've wanted to do for a while. For the record, okay, let me just kind of rephrase something. In theory, I could have caught another Pokemon for Surf and use Surf to get to Cinnabar. I should have mentioned that. The reason I don't do that is because then I have to get the fishing rod and get a Pokemon, and that wastes time. Once you beat Fievel, you get a Strength and Surf user in Lapras. It just so happened we already had a Surf user in Slowbro. That's the calculus. If you get another Surf Pokemon, it's at least a 3 to 5 minute time loss, and one I didn't think Slowbro deserved. I was right, by the way. But yeah, just wanted to thoroughly explain what I was thinking at the time. I was wrong. Happens from time to time. Let me just say, I don't really care when people in the comments call me out. I always find it funny because, you know, I'm one of those people who, when I watch people game, sometimes I see something they don't see and it feels infuriating. Like, how don't they see it? But now as someone who does this for a living, you realize you get tunnel visioned. Like, it's funny. Like, literally sometimes it'll be on screen and they'll be like, where is this thing? Where is this thing? And it's right there. They're just not looking in that area. But if I'm being real with you guys, I find the comments kind of funny and they add to the engagement. So criticize me all you want, whether it's for how I pronounce things or my strategies. I don't really care. But I do think if you want to try these runs for yourself, especially if you want to make videos out of them and are doing these live in front of 100, 200 people, you're going to realize very quickly it's easy to kind of develop sort of this tunnel vision, sort of one-track mind thing. And then, you know, you look at it afterwards, you're like, oh, it's so obvious. I mean, listen, guys, I've never played Pokemon at any kind of competitive level. I'm not a competitive Nuzlocker. I've never gone to any kind of Pokemon regional. The best battles I have are pretty much ones I've posted that are just jokes with like meme teams because, I mean, that's fun. I haven't done a battle video in a while. I'm rambling. Some of you like the rambling. But anyway, now let's go battle Blaine. Blaine really can't do much to me, although, again, I should have Surf here. I don't, so forgive me for using lesser attacks. It bothers me. This probably cost me about no more than 30 seconds, but beating Blaine is huge. Now, when we use Withdraw, our special will go up, and that's important because we're using that to attack. Now we will beat the penultimate gym leader, Sabrina. Here is where Body Slam will be used, but after a couple withdraws, we try to raise our attack, and that will actually also raise our speed, not enough to outspeed Venomoth. And then, oh, I actually didn't use enough withdraws. I probably should have used 4. It's okay. We didn't get Reflect, and we didn't get Paralyzed, so all in all, everything's good, everything's fine. We're ready to battle Giovanni, who should be a complete joke. Good old 3 Giovanni leads with a Rhyhorn. I'm going to go for, what's that? Amnesia. So Amnesia is one of the best moves in Generation 1, but so few Pokemon get to use it. It raises my special by 2 stages, and now I don't need the badge boosts. I'm using the move as intended. I'm just sweeping. I mean, think about this. In Generation 3, you get Calm Mind, and that's a really good move in solo runs. And this is Calm Mind times 2. It's like Ultra Swords Dance. It's Swords Dance plus Iron Defense in one. It's Geomancy minus the speed. It's so ridiculously overpowered. I'm not sure how even in Gen 1 they didn't realize that. But we're going to use the heck out of it. So now it's Rival 6 time. Amnesia, Amnesia, and Ice Beam. Easy. Nothing can stand in our way, right? Wrong. Very wrong. The wrongest you've ever been. You should be ashamed for being so wrong. I don't look wrong. Well, that's because, well, wait a sec. Here we go. The level up actually doesn't matter. Razor Leaf always crits. All Venusaur needs to do is use 1 Razor Leaf, and it crits. Crits ignore stat boost. To this day, that's just how crits work. Without using the rare candies, I essentially have a 50-50 shot of winning this battle, because if it uses Vine Whip, we win. If it uses Razor Leaf, we lose. Otherwise, I can just use the rare candies, and then what happens is I have a lot more HP, and also, because I don't level up, I actually still am faster than Venusaur, because Amnesias, even though I'm using them as intended, will increase my speed. And this battle is literally why I allow the badge boost glitch, because what? Am I not allowed to use Amnesia now? This doesn't come up as much anymore because it's been like 120 videos. And I know the people on the other side will say, well, J-Rose, there's a difference between using Amnesia and happen to be getting speed versus using Withdraw when you don't need the defense. Who are you to say what I need and don't need? I don't know. Raising stats, lowering stats, give me a break. We're going to analyze my mental state? It's now subjective whether or not I'm using a glitch or not. That's not how it works. You either allow stat boosting moves or not. We're just going to allow them, and this is a really good example of where I can't just ban the badge boost glitch because it's simple. Oh, don't use Withdraw when you don't need it. But Amnesia just did the exact same thing, and I did kind of need it. With that out of the way, you might be thinking, gee, Amnesia is going to make the Elite Four easy. No, you're wrong again. Why are you so consistently wrong? Random straw man viewer I just invent in order to argue with? Don't worry, I never lose this argument. Best viewer ever. Argues and creates engagement, but is always wrong, so I get to feel better than them. I love fake pseudo viewer that I make up to argue with. Great, great viewer. Now, it's gonna start deceptively easy. Laurelie's Dugong can't actually do anything to me, at least not anything significant, and so I can just set up Amnesias and then sweep through the rest of her team. And Bruno is Bruno. So that isn't surprising that we make it very quickly to Agatha. Here's where things start to fall apart very quickly. We get put to sleep, but we wake up, which is funny because I went for Dream Eater. I go for one Amnesia because, actually I went for a second Amnesia. I shouldn't have done that since I would have been able to knock everything out. And I level up anyway, so no increased speed. Then I get confused by Golbat, the confusion damage, the chip damage, but then she just keeps switching her Pokemon, which is literally the only reason I win, by the way, with 67 HP. And yes, I know someone is going to point out, 6-7. Yes, very funny. That joke is very on fleek. It's lit. I'm sure that 6-7 will definitely be an enduring meme that 2 years ago, not everyone will find extremely cringe. It honestly is completely harmless. It's just two numbers, but Anyway, speaking of Lance sucks. Lance is awful for me. So we start with Gyarados, and I go for Amnesia. He goes for Dragon Rage first, then Hyper Beam. I don't knock it out, which sucks. And then I level up. Dragonair then goes for Hyper Beam. I go for one, then two Amnesias, and I do outspeed with Ice Beam. But I'm not going to outspeed Aerodactyl. If it crit there, which has a pretty good chance to do, I lose. And then if Dragonite goes for anything but Slam, I lose. So this is great. First try making it to the champion. Looking fantastic, right? Well, we're going to go for 3 Amnesias. We get Whirlwind, Mirror Move Amnesia, and then Sky Attack. I'm unable to outspeed Pidgeot even after 3 badge boosts, but we don't take that much damage, we knock it out. Alakazam, you're going to see I'm going to go for Surf, because Amnesia plus Surf is better than Body Slam. We knock it out. Then we knock out Rhydon. And then Gyarados, we're going to go for Psychic. We get a crit, which is awful because it cancels my boost because Gen 1, Gen Fun. Then I'm hit by Hyper Beam. And now it all comes down to a 33% chance, well, after Arcanine, a 33% chance. I level up here, so I'm not going to be faster. If it goes for Razor Leaf, I lose. I lose. 1 in 3 chance. We could have done this first try, and it took us a very long time to get back. But why? Well, let's watch some Agatha losses. See, even though we can one-shot Agatha's Pokemon, the fact that we don't outspeed means she has a lot of time to just do... Well, in this case, funny enough, Hypnosis is bad, Dream Eater isn't because I resist it, but Nightshade is awful. It doesn't take many hits to knock me out. But it's okay, J-Rose, you made it past her on your 3rd attempt. That's not so bad. Yeah, well, let's talk about Lance a little bit. See, Lance actually is atrocious. You can knock out Gyarados quickly, so it's going to do a bunch of damage to you. And then you basically have to rely on no crit by Aerodactyl and no Hyper Beam by Dragonite. The chance of neither of those things happening is much lower than you think. I even got to land twice in a row, but in this case, it was actually both supersonic and a critical hit. So I decided to try to get a little bit more experience points in order to manipulate my XP in such a way that should make the battle easier. Did it work? I mean, not initially, because Agatha is still essentially complete RNG. However, after losing to her one more time, we are back at Lance, and we have used the rare candies in such a way that we will now not level up in the middle of this battle. What does that mean? It means we're going to now outspeed Dragonite, and the only thing that can go wrong is a Hyper Beam crit. Even a takedown crit is not enough to knock me out, and we level up to level 62. Unfortunately, that means that we still are going to level up before we get to Venusaur, so we can't use the same badge boosting strategy twice. We're just going to have to rely on a 66% chance of victory, and we're already 0 for 1 with that. So, Mirror Move, I go for Amnesia. Sky Attack, I go for Amnesia. Sky Attack hits Amnesia. Whirlwind, perfect. 161. Alakazam, I go for Surf. Perfect, it went for Recover. Great. Rhydon, I outspeed and go for Surf. Outstanding. Gyarados, this time I don't get the crit. Excellent. And Arcanine goes for Takedown. 137, I don't think is enough. Now we're at 141. And I'm not going to find out whether it will be enough or not, because we don't get Razor Leaf, and we win at level 63. So, how did Slowbro do in the end? Fine. It did well. It's a Psychic Pokemon. Level 63 is a low level. 335 is a good time. It finds itself in the top tier, in the A tier, but towards the bottom, which is where our fellow Psychic Pokemon Mr. Mime is. So, it's right there with Mr. Mime. Getting Amnesia is a big reason Slowbro is this high. I would say without it, it probably would be about as fast as maybe a Lapras or something. I don't know what tier. It definitely would not be top tier. Well, non-Mewtwo top tier. But it was a fun Pokemon to use. I'm going to miss using Amnesia and Psychic Pokemon. But that's what happens when you've been doing this for 6 years. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you all very soon in the next video. Take care.